Welcome back, everybody, to another Fake Friends podcast episode. We're rocking on episode 15. What is up? What's going on? How we doing?
You know, same old same. Feeling good today. Feeling great. Excited to chop it up with a long time old school friend that I think we're gonna have some fun with.
I'm
feeling good.
Absolutely. Great conversation. Definitely learned a lot, for sure. We're talking to one of our longtime friends who now goes by Jamel Hawk. So we won't tell you. Yeah, we have a long relationship with him, known him over a decade, and talking fashion, menswear, kind of his brand. He has his own fashion brand. How he's working on that to get it bigger, and kind of just the whole fashion industry itself. And I definitely learned a lot, especially when we get
great talk.
Yeah, especially getting on the topic when we covered Virgil's influence in fashion.
Yeah.
That was awesome because I learned a lot. I didn't know how involved he was with some of the things he was involved with.
Yeah, so enjoy it, check it out, and
you can
comment, leave your feedback too, for sure.
Yeah, so we're not really good at promoting. Definitely comment, feedback, on the podcast apps. Let us know if you have any questions, comments, DM us on the podcast.
If you want to jump on, hit us up.
Yeah, if you're interested in hopping on, talking and having conversation, we're open to really all topics. We talk about anything. We have interest in pretty much everything in life regarding life. There is a link in the description of every episode that takes us to all of our other content that you can find on the internet, as well as our music content on Apple and Spotify, Google, and all that fun stuff.
The link tree,
dog, the link tree, son. You feel me? So, that's it. You got anything else before we
this intro is already way too long. Let's just
it's way too long. Yeah, it's way too long. It's gonna take up all my fucking space on my computer. So, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching, and hope you enjoy.
Yeah.
Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? Oh, why can't we be friends?
What game you watching?
All of them.
You got the Red Zone?
Yeah.
Yeah, Red Zone's dope.
I play fantasy.
I know. I played. You do. What was that?
I play fantasy.
Yeah, same. I did a DraftKings lineup today, and I played Gardner Minshew and Dallas Goddard for no reason, and they're like low key balling right now. So I don't know. Maybe I'll win some money. Maybe I'll lose my money. Probably lose my money.
Shit, my team sucking dick right now.
Yep.
For real.
Sundays are just L's all day. Sunday's an L day for me.
Yeah, man. So what's been up? What's been up?
Shit, chilling, working, getting to it. That's all.
Love it.
Yeah, buddy.
You back home or where you living these days?
I'm in Houston, Texas right at the moment. But
okay.
Yeah, but next year I'm kind of gonna be transitioning, be moving around a little bit more. But I'm stationed here in Houston.
Okay, cool. Is that moving around more so for work? Where you doing with clothing and whatnot?
Yeah. So I'll be moving around, like probably going to like the LA, New York, like 2 places like that. But other than that, I'm gonna be stationed here in Houston, doing, connecting the dots even more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's one of the reasons one of the main reasons we kind of wanted to get you on here was to kind of detail. I know you've been doing this. How long? I don't want to speak for you, but how long you've been kind of doing your own designs and running your own line?
I've been designing for a while before designing. So I was in art school originally. Yeah. So in like high school, so it's like 2 schools that's in America that has like an art program that you have to like audition and get in. So auditioned and got in that one. So I've been in art school all my life. So, and then playing sports as well. you know, at the same time as that, because that art school didn't have sports. So I had to go to my home school to kind of like play sports and things like that. But yeah, so once I transitioned into AAU, it was about what did I want to fine tune my craft into as far as in design? Like, what do I want to do? So the clothing was always like something that was like, just because of the recession and shit, clothing wasn't like what men are wearing these days. It wasn't like something that people were like yeah, the 90s, you know, that was like a golden age because that's, you know, you had your Alexander McQueens, you had your Versace's, but once they died and, you know, got assassinated, you know, it was like a dry spell. So you had the whole early 2000s where we was all wearing big jerseys and oversized tees and, you know, talking about and riding on dubs. You know, I'm from the South, so it was kind of that vibe, you know. So, you know, and then 2010, 2000, you know, that was school time. So that's when meeting you guys and, you know, playing sports and, you know, living it up in San Francisco for those many years.
What would you say, like in that's kind of like a hard time for me to even pinpoint, like as a fashion sense. Like, what would you think was like the trend? I'd say in that early part of the decade, 2010, 11, 12, when like you had a lot of backpack kind of, you know, artists coming out, and like what was the fashion trend around then?
I mean, you gotta understand, like T-Pain was running the world during that time. So it was like it was one of those things where didn't nobody really have, like now everybody follows everybody because of social media. And then during that time, we hardly had social media during that time. Like, I don't think Instagram was around.
It wasn't until like 13 or 14. Nope.
Yes. So it was like we were, and then, you know, me growing up in the 90s, it was no internet. So you had to go take your ass outside if you wanted to know some people, you know what I mean? So it was like, you know, during that time, it was all about face-to-face contact. And so what I've seen, like during, like, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit ahead of my time. You know, in San Francisco, we saw a lot of homeless people, right?
Yeah.
So you know how all those oversized thing nowadays, the whole grunge type of oversized streetwear, I saw that and I did that and I actually got a notebook or whatnot, a drawing book of me actually going around in San Francisco taking pictures of homeless people. You know what I mean? Taking pictures of homeless people on Market Street, all over the place, and trying to figure out if that was like if that's gonna end. It's crazy that it turned out to be that type of vibe. You know what I mean? Yeah. So just that's why I say I'm always thinking about outside the box anytime I'm doing something for us in design. But during that, just to answer your question, during that time, I don't think no one had a style.
There was no, that's what I'm saying. There was no like, there was no direction or like a
no
thing.
No one had
like
a style like at all.
That early 2000s, because you're right, early 2000s, you kind of had the, you know, you had the baggy, like, what do you call it? Like gangster rapper look where you was
we was just getting into skinny jeans.
Yeah, like it was just, you know, the skinny stuff was just starting in that early 2010, 2011, you know? Because I think Jay-Z had put out his Blueprint 3 in like 09. Right. In 09, and you had like the Death Autotune or whatever, somewhere around there, and something like that. And he was talking about the skinny jean stuff. And I just thought about that. And it was like, no, you know.
Yeah, like the artist that was around, like, because everybody on social media now. So it's kind of like, when you look at social media, you look at the little babies, you just look at artists and the creatives and, you know, actors of this day and age, these days. Mm-hmm. Who was really doing that back then like that? Like, that you could think of far as an artist that we was like, T-Pain, I know for sure.
Well, Kanye.
Maybe T.I. Or definitely Kanye.
Kanye for sure. But Kanye was in so much into polo.
He was, that's what hitting Louis Vuitton.
He was kind of, you know, once his mom passed and whatnot, he was kind of you know, during that time. So it was.
I say maybe T.I. I don't know if.
I think like Givenchy was like the biggest thing.
Okay.
That's with the Rockwalla tees. You know what I mean? You had the stars. Givenchy was
you had True Religion taking over the denim too.
Right, and then you had True Religion. And then, and and I'm not talking about anything over, to be honest, I'm not even talking about anything over 2012.
I think 12. Yeah, I think 13.
I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about from 2000 to 2010, 2011.
You didn't have.
It was like, yeah, it wasn't. It was. I can't.
You had sports. It was because it was sports jerseys and just baggy jeans that.
Right.
Yeah,
T.I. was big.
Yeah.
But that's so Southern. I mean, they wasn't rocking what they rocking now. You know what I mean? You had Gucci Mane. Gucci Mane wasn't Gucci Mane.
No.
Like, he was fat Gucci. You know,
and that's why I asked that, because now you
flame, like, you know what I mean?
Lil Wayne, you had Lil Wayne with Truck Fit.
Yeah, you had Lil Wayne with Truck Fit.
Lil Wayne with Truck Fit.
So that whole streetwear vibe, he kind of brought into the whole skateboard streetwear vibe. He kind of brought into hip hop a little bit more. You know what I mean? Because back in the 90s, you had FUBU, you had Carl Kanai, you had Tommy Hilfiger.
Yeah, Hilfiger was big.
It was. And then 2000s, you had Beauty Supply Store, which was jerseys. You had Mitchell and Ness. Yep. You had jerseys. You had wristbands, which was.
I think Polo was always there too. I know Polo was there.
Polo been
gonna be
around.
there.
Yeah, Polo been around. That's just ideal. Polo was definitely that American luxury brand that people got into. So,
Yeah, that's a great point, because I think 13 is probably where, was like the foundation of 13, 14 was like the foundation of like artists more in a sense was pushing the trend line of having a fashion sense.
Like really pushing the trend line of Instagram. Like you gotta market yourself. You gotta look at yourself as a marketing tool. Mm-hmm. So you gotta go out here and you gotta buy these clothes. Now it's crazy. You don't understand. Yeah. Now it's ridiculous. Social media has really put up like that platform to where it's like, if you ain't wearing the right shit or if you're not wearing the right stuff, people are not looking at you.
Yeah, well, true. No, that's a good point. It's so easy to see what other people are wearing. So like you can kind of say, oh, it's this trend. There's this trendy season or there's this trend going on. I want to feel a part of that. You can make that decision to do that. You can see what other people are wearing, whether it's actors, actresses, entertainers, musicians, athletes, and you can be a part of that with social media. It's kind of
even if you really think about athletes, like
athletes, I mean the NBA, and with the NBA,
like, you gotta understand, they were wearing suits, bro. They couldn't wear what they wearing nowadays, bro.
That's so true.
Kyle Kuzma in the damn Balenciaga, big ass pink sweater, long sleeves coming in, like, you know what I mean?
You know what? That's a great. When did that kind of start? Because I know, the story of like AI kind of making the NBA have this dress code when he was walking through arenas and sitting on the bench. And they stopped it and they made them all wear suits like a business. Right.
That's when D-Wade, that's when LeBron came. They was all wearing suits.
All suits. And now it's kind of like they got the freedom to just make it, as long as it's fashionable, they can wear it.
They can wear it because everything is about marketing. That's the
kind of helping the league, because that league really markets its players. So if one of the players Kyle Kuzma walks into the arena in a fashion statement, I mean, it's not just eyes on him; it's eyes on the league.
I think I want to say the league, like organizations in the NBA, started maybe like 2 or 3 years ago, making it a point to show players show up to the arena every night and what they were wearing. Like I see that on Instagram all the time, and you see it always when they're walking in, like. The players know the camera's on them, So it's interesting.
Yeah, you hit it right on the nail, Jared. Like, it's also like, if you really it's also, social media has taken to the point where you are the business. You've been the business. Of course, you've been the business, right? But now social media makes it visual that people can see that you are the business. You see what I'm saying?
It's not the product. It's you. It's not the product.
You are the product. Like, you are the product. Like, you are the Jordan. You are the, you know what I mean? It's just not a tangible product now. You have to have a lifestyle that which going to contain a product. Like, that's, you know what I'm saying? That's how other people get their endorsement deals and things like that, is because now you have to walk around, in the and be that. You know what I mean? You have to walk around. Like, I'm about to be sending some stuff to DeAndre Hopkins. Like,
I was just about to say, how important is it that now, like, so for someone like an independent brand like yourself, that's not let's say a well-known fashion house, how important is it for you to have a Kyle Kuzma, Kyle Murray, anybody, a prominent athlete walk into their locker room wearing just your brand?
Very. That's product placement. Yeah. You have to have that product placement. That's just like in music. Like, you got to be on these certain streamlines, and you got to be, connecting with the right people, doing shows. It's the same thing. You have to do it more. It's a lot harder now because these influencers and these athletes, or influencers as a whole, know that they can build your shit up. You see what I'm saying? So you have to build, you have to like...
There's no innocence to it now. They put it on.
Yeah, you got to create a relationship with them to even like send them shit. You know what I mean? To even like, and you have to create a relationship with the stylists who are really becoming like superstars these days, because that's the people that are giving them their image most of the time. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're like, it's crazy. It's now.
I just think, Jared,
fashion right now is crazy.
Imagine being an athlete and you wake up, you have some breakfast. Before you go to the arena, your stylist is like, hey, I got this outfit for you. It's not like you just wake up and you're like, I'm just going to the arena. Let me throw on. I'm going to the arena and I'm going to do what I'm wearing in 30 minutes to get ready to go warm up, play game.
Right.
What's good about, I'd say, someone like yourself, or how you're trying to create fashion, is there's always, that next athlete or entertainer or influencer who's looking for something that's new and creative. So if you're there providing it, you happen to connect and build that relationship, it's only a matter of time that if you're putting something together that's quality, someone's going to discover it, like it, and then you're on your way with that wave for sure. Right. Like, it's only a matter of time.
Like,
I feel that.
The best thing is definitely getting with the younger generation of athletes. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So I'm working right now. I'm working right now to get Jalen Green, who was the number 2.
Yep.
So the thing is with that is also that you have to have, that guy has to be considered as a fashion, someone people look at as a fashion
shit, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, you're not putting everything going Kawhi Leonard, because people are not looking at Kawhi Leonard to be for fashion. You see what I'm saying? People aren't looking at certain individuals for fashion. They're looking at the Russell Westbrooks for real fashion.
That brings a question. Is it possible for someone like, let's say, a Klay Thompson, Damian Lillard, somebody that's not necessarily, like, they might have some statements here and there. Is it possible for your brand, you do build a relationship and your brand make that person kind of a fashion statement, or make that athlete a fashion statement? You know what I mean? Yeah, that's not necessarily a young athlete, but somebody that is a prominent athlete, a prominent face, and your brand gets noticed because they're wearing it.
Right. It's a give and take with that too. I mean, it has to be the right brand too. Right now, if someone like Kawhi Leonard decided, hey, bro, I'm really focus in on my fashion, they're going to most likely go to the bigger brands. Yeah. That's simple as that. Just because it's just a give and take type of thing. They see Kawhi Leonard in Balenciaga or Givenchy, you know what I'm saying? They're going to be like, that's Givenchy from this season. Then you have bloggers who, going to write about it, like...
Now he becomes a fashion statement.
Correct. You got Upscale Hype, you know what I mean? You got Fashion Bomb Daily for men. Those are like the key things that are on social media. And then I hate to even market their ass, but
I don't even know. I don't even know them.
You know what I mean?
That's news to me.
I don't even know them.
Right.
I don't, because I'd have to say I'm just as, gullible to the sense of knowing kind of was popular, was in, just based on what I might see on certain athletes or stuff that I like, that I see when I go to certain stores. I don't technically keep up with ahead of the trends and stuff between blogs and stuff on fashion. So I think that's why, I might see someone on athlete and be like, oh, I like that. And then now I'm looking for that. And that's kind of like my source.
Yeah. Really a lot of the last person I feel like, I think it's it's basketball. It's, I want to say it's soccer.
Okay.
That's basketball, soccer, football, and then you got hockey, baseball. Like they ain't looking at baseball for, you know what I mean? No.
Only in spring training do they show baseball. That's about it. Yep.
And that's probably going to change in a couple of years. Like once they get someone that's like really fast.
You saw it this past year.
You know what I mean?
You saw guys getting off the bus, going into the ballpark. You saw some of those pictures that they highlight. I know
the Red Sox.
Not like basketball. They come down and throw.
Oh yeah, no basketball. They make it. They call it like the red carpet. I swear to God, like every night. Yeah. I'll say I don't know. I follow a handful of I follow a handful of baseball organizations and franchises on Instagram, and I'll say the Red Sox. I feel like kind of focused on players showing up to the ballpark or in whatever they're wearing. I saw especially like Alex Verdugo, a lot of Verdugo and like Xander Bogaerts,
younger cats.
JD Martinez as well. So it is interesting. I feel like for sure it'll be inevitable with sports that aren't there yet, like something like baseball, definitely getting more attention for players' fashion.
But you know the thing, it's like an unwritten dress code in baseball. That there's like this look of an off the field baseball player.
Yeah,
like you're not going to
wooden bat and no t-shirt.
You're just not going to see. You're not going to see like usually your most popular baseball or even a popular baseball player wearing the latest season of a designer brand. That's loud. It might be very quiet. Like they might have a t-shirt, like a Balenciaga t-shirt on, and you might not know it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the attire is not a very loud. Like look at me. Look for a baseball player. At least. You know, just kind of that culture of baseball off the field. I can't say I remember a time where it ever was. You know, they look like regular guys dressed in clothes, if that makes sense, when they off the field.
Alex Bregman, that boy look like a farmer.
That dude. Yeah, I follow him, and I'm just like this. This guy.
They don't, unless they Dominican. You know, sometimes the Dominicans will dress up.
In the interview, I said this man got a gingham plaid shirt on.
Yeah, they don't. I mean,
basic.
Carlos Correa.
Alex Correa is really.
I was gonna say the Latin players. Sometimes I'll say
Correa got
they got some money.
Style. But Correa got some style.
Most American ball players kind of just show up and just your target wardrobe and just like, I'm just here.
Right.
Yeah. So, not to get too off topic, but when you are in the realm of like your fashion designer community, what is that relationship with other people like yourself in terms of, if you're at like a show, if you have something you designed on a show, it's going to be displayed. How is it maybe if you're interested with collabing with someone else or just people kind of communicating amongst other creators? What is that like? How's like that community?
So the community it's based on region. So the community in Houston is probably different from the community in New York and in LA and in Miami. Give me 1 second. So.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it is interesting, like talking about baseball because, they do put a lot of spotlight on the players showing up. I feel like you see like the cars and stuff like that, but I feel like it is inevitable eventually with baseball getting more attention because they do want it to be like the NBA in that aspect where you've seen more of the players. But
but the players don't like.
But they have to be into that. They're not. I know. I know.
They never have been.
I know.
Granted, you might have like I said, your Latin players more times than not. You're gonna get like Vlad was just on MLB Network, and I think like all Louis Vuitton thing. Like and
right.
But that's not a point made even when they cover it. Like when they cover, players showing up to the stadium, they're like, look at this, designer shirt.
Yeah, like the NBA, they'll make a comment about it.
They'll make a comment about it.
ESPN,
that's not going to happen.
Right, yeah. No, I did, yeah. I will say soccer for sure. I didn't think about soccer. Yeah, that's definitely.
Because those players,
guys like Ronaldo and stuff.
They're worldwide, just.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm the soccer crazy when it comes to all that. You gotta, them guys there really put that European, just because fashion is from that side. But to answer your question, here in Houston, it's really a small kind of community with it compared to like the meccas of LA and New York. But there are some creators who are definitely making waves down there for sure.
So I got a question. And I don't want to like kind of marginalize, but would you consider yourself like an independent fashion designer? In a sense? Yeah, right? Yeah. So, and I just saw on social media, you did like your own like fashion show, like with your whole like, was it a season that you did of product?
Oh, that was, so I had took some time out. You know what I mean? Of course, I got married, so I got
congratulations
married.
on that.
Congratulations.
Also, we bought a house, so I put some stuff in order in line as far as in life, and then I came back out. So this is one of the collection I just recently did is the spring for 2022. Okay. So I have a few pieces that I'm going to be bringing out during 2022, like March. But I'm actually going to do a hoodie release in December, this December. I just released these hats, the signature, the Jamel hat, truckers. So next year, it's the show was basically is my rebirth in the fashion.
Yeah, and I asked that because like what, from an independent standpoint, as an independent, high-end fashion designer standpoint, what all goes into not just designing your own product, but then also producing your own product and then displaying it through your own fashion show? Like you're doing all of that. And what goes into that from an independent standpoint?
I mean, from an independent standpoint, it's just about getting up and doing it. I mean, it's I have production coming. It's just you have to get everything has to be kind of in line. So you create a collection, and then from that collection, you're not gonna be able to do everything just because independently, and then budget wise, you're not Balenciaga. You don't have that budget to even like do all of that, and you don't even want to do all of that because then you're not really designing aesthetic. So for me, I want to design aesthetic. So I want you to, if you're wearing Jamel Hawk, I want people to know that you're wearing Jamel Hawk. Just like if you're wearing, any other brand, they know certain things and certain about that brand that, hey, that's Givenchy, or hey, that's Balenciaga. You know what I mean? So, right, from my standpoint right now, I'm building a foundation for myself for us in designs. And a design foundation. So I have my Valley Necklines, which are something that I'm going to transcend through the brand, period. You know what I mean? So those are my classic foundation pieces. I'm creating another classic foundation piece with my Komodo, my short sleeve Komodo dress. So I'm trying to take these things that are considered classics, like T-shirts and dress shirts that people wear on a day-to-day basis, and really put a twist to it in an aesthetic that I think that I will wear. You see what I'm saying? So it's just about picking and choosing what you want to do and not breaking yourself. That's the biggest thing. Then you have to take that and you have to do product placement. So you have to make sure. Now, the product placement, you might grab something from your collection or do something crazy, but that product placement so people can see, oh man, what is that? You know what I mean? It's kind of like that's your costume kind of vibe. You know what I mean? So people can see, oh, okay, that really speaks to me. Who designed that? You know what I mean? And then once they get into the collection, they see that, okay, this is the collection. Boom, boom, boom. They go on your social media, they look. So you have to, when they go on your social media, you have to have a certain visual to your stuff. You know what I mean? It has to look presentable. You know what I mean? For everything. It just has to look presentable. On social media, everything has to look presentable.
There's got to be a certain look.
Yeah. Once you do that, I mean, like right now, I'm building a foundation also for as in my lower tier, and my higher tier. So once I have my lower tier and my higher tier, then I'm able to kind of do whatever I want to do.
Speak to that in terms of like define that.
My lower tier, I have it's just lower price. So it's for anybody to get into. You know what I mean? It's like the hoodies I'm dropping this December. It's lower tiers. It was easy to make. I have a manufacturer in Pakistan that made the items, these great hoodies, these dope embossed hoodies that I have that I'm gonna drop. And then you have something, the March release that I'm doing, which is I'm gonna have a whole event about it. You know what I'm saying? That's gonna be my higher tier. But I'm gonna mix them two together when I do my event, so it can kind of see a low end, high end kind of, so anybody can get into it. You don't want to be too high. You know what I mean? These days, you kind of gotta shut up and sit back, and then once it released, then you be like, okay, cool, I can go this time. Once it gets to a certain point where people wearing it, then okay, I'm gonna raise it up a little bit. You know what I mean? Just because you want to kind of control who really likes your stuff and not just try to sell people on anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah. So with the hoodie, I love hoodies, so I'm buying one for sure. That's a fact. But I have a specific feel for how I kind of want a hoodie now. When you're like, what are your personal, thoughts on how a hoodie should fit? Is there anything unique about how maybe your hoodie will fit on men? It's both for men and women. You're doing. Hoodies are unisex. It's going to be like unisex. So like, is there anything like, like the sleeves kind of being tighter to the arms or tighter in the shoulder, like anything like that, or just kind of like a...
So this hoodie is pretty much going to be a basic hoodie. It's going to have a little oversized to it, semi-oversized. It's not a super, super oversized, but it depends. Some people like theirs super oversized. Some people like theirs like a t-shirt, you know what I mean?
Right.
So it's really, really, once you see it on a person, then you will see how it actually fits, because I'm gonna put it on a model that I feel that going to be able to show that fit. You know what I mean? That way, once you look at it, you be like, okay, I know that fit. You know what I mean? I like this fit or I don't like this fit. Simple as that.
Yeah. I think that's important. I nowadays, I swear to God, dude, maybe about a year ago, especially for like the Nike, Adidas, Under Armour, they all changed their sizing like out of nowhere and didn't tell anyone. They went, their XLs for the waist became larges. I remember one day I went to like a Dick's Sporting Goods just to like try some stuff on, see what was going on with like the latest trends for like the retailers. And I was like, what the fuck? Like, did I step into another universe or something? Like, why don't none of these clothes fit me?
Yo, I'm glad you mentioned that, because I remember talking to you about it and I told you, like, I noticed this about Nike, like, an athletic brand. I remember going into Nike Town, like it was some point last year, I think, or maybe it was the top of this year, maybe like late last year. But it's almost like their attire is not for athletes. It's almost like Nike has become or has entered like a beginning stage or a pivotal moment where they became like this fashion sense for their wardrobe, not their sneakers. Right. But like, their tech suits are like a fashion statement to some degree. So like everything else that's usually with that check on it is an athletic, representation. Right. It's now like a high-end fashion representation. That's like really, but also the way it's cut.
Really doing it the way Adidas is like.
Yeah.
Really, Nike is trying to do what Adidas.
They're trying to keep up with Adidas when it comes to the fashion.
Adidas got so many influences. Not saying that Nike don't, but as far as in like Adidas having fashion influences, you got Ivy Park with Beyonce, you got Kanye with Yeezy,
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
You got a bunch of and they coming out with fashion stuff, not what Nike doing for athleisure. Well, it's athleisure.
Yeah.
But it has a fashion, like a higher end fashion look to it. You know what I mean? Even though the price point is not high end.
I don't go to Nike Town. Some of that shit is price point is high end in Nike Town.
No. I was in Nike Town yesterday. No, hold on, real quick. I was in Nike Town.
This damn drop is high.
Yeah. And they had a sweatsuit that was very made similar to a Billionaire Boys Club sweatsuit. The way like it was like this thick sweat that's like kind of this heavy, durable that you feel like you can wash and dry a million times and it won't get ruined. And there was thick stitching. And I'm sitting here like, Nike, who are you? You're like, it was over $100. It was like right at $100 or more for like each piece. I think it was like $100 for the hoodie, $100 for the sweats. I'm like, who are you? Like Nike, like,
I
don't know. It's just interesting.
Nike, that's like a 50. That's supposed to be like $100 total for a Nike sweatsuit. You're used to that.
And I feel like,
but now you don't expect to spend $350 at Nike for one piece or for two pieces.
Yep.
like, I don't know if Nike's the only one that does this. Maybe it's Adidas, Under Armour. They all do it because they're forced to. But how much do you think those big brands steal from people like yourself, creating fashion to incorporate into their brand? You know, like,
I don't think they steal. I think right now,
or like influence.
Yeah. Well, they can be influenced for sure. That all big brands steal from smaller brands. That's just simple as that.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it shouldn't stop you from creating. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's because at the end of the day, they're trying to forecast 10 years and 15 years down the line. So they see that a younger generation might be that has that outlook, that 10-year, 15-year down the line type of outlook. So when it comes to creating, I don't really focus on who gonna steal it. You know what I mean? That's just not something, because I'm gonna come out with something else. You know what I mean? And I'm gonna come out with something else. You know what I mean? So, but to like, I mean, I feel like it's cool that they'll steal something. You know what I mean? Just don't do it to the point where it's like
blatant and disrespectful.
Take the whole style. You know what I mean? Don't take the whole thing. Take a piece of it. Don't take the entire thing. You know what I mean? Because once you take the entire thing, now you're like, okay, now, all right, cool. All right, stop it.
You know what I mean? Yeah, right.
Yeah. You know, but there's people that take, you know, I don't know if you've seen this, but a lot of people taking these Jordan 1s.
Yeah.
Nike, they doing their own thing.
They doing their own thing, running with it.
Also vice versa. You see what I'm saying? Yep. Where the young, you know, because that silhouette of that Jordan 1.
So iconic.
It's so iconic. And then you put it, all you have to do is do a twist on the Nike check, or change the Nike check out, put stars there, or put dice there. And it's something totally different, and Nike can't do anything about it. So, you know, it
goes both ways.
Give and take type of thing. You know?
Got it.
It's that.
Yeah, for sure. Because we might have to stop it and start it and being. But I did want to ask you this on the likes of like guys like Kanye West, who big fan of course, in terms of his influence in fashion. I think his influence in fashion might be equivalent to his influence in music at this point when it comes to just where he's at with his shoes, if not even bigger. But
I don't know. His influence in music is crazy because I'm doing gospel. And
he's been doing it for over 20 plus years in music. I know his entrance in the fashion sense in terms of his creative control might only be 10 years in now. But a guy like Virgil who worked with Kanye a lot on a lot of things in terms of his creativity, and I know his unexpected passing, how impactful is a guy like him to somebody like you as an influence, as a designer, if there's any at all?
I think it's more impact. It's the impactful part of that. All of it, him being a Black designer, being the creative director of Louis Vuitton. That's
unheard of. Yep.
That's not.
I mean, even to the point where
Olivier for Balmain is like, he was probably the first Black. You know what I mean? But
who was that?
French. Olivier.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he's over Balmain, but he's like French. You know what I mean? Yeah. What's the name is from Chicago.
Yep.
Like, you know what I mean? Like, you know, so, and you know, I think that influence and him showing the youth and everybody else that, hey, you can do it. Just focus up and create. You know what I mean? And he tell you that straight up. It just be like, you know, just Virgil he's an icon. So he's kind of like, I mean, you got to think about all the designers who passed away. You know what I mean? Your YSLs, your Versace's, they all became an icon. And I believe he really, really changed the outlook of Louis Vuitton, because you got to think no one was wearing Louis Vuitton but bags. He really brought the whole aesthetic of buying their ready-to-wear clothing.
That's a great point. Great point. Yeah. They were known for that, for the luggage, travel, and maybe handbags, some accessories here in terms of like glasses.
Right. But as far as ready-to-wear, they were like, they were struggling on that end, and they brought Virgil in And he changed the entire outlook of the brand as far as in ready to wear and people buying ready to wear. And people taking, like I have a friend, his name is, I don't know if you ever seen him on social media, but his name is Rich God. But he's like a new Dapper Dan.
Okay.
I don't know if you ever heard, before Rich God, it was Exclusive Game. So Exclusive Game is a guy named T. They took, they go in and they buy LV scarves and they create a whole, it's like Dapper Dan.
Okay.
What Dapper Dan did with MCM, Gucci, what I mean? So really Dapper Dan paved the way for them to do what they doing right now. So, people are taking these scarves of what LV and creating whole outlooks and building more marketing on LV that no one else has done since Dapper Dan. You see what I'm saying? Because Exclusive Game, he was the one that created all the jerseys in 2003 that the celebrities was wearing. And you'd be like, dang, how you get that jersey? Or he was creating that stuff. So, you know what I mean? So, and then now you got a guy named Rich Guy who gets the scarves and the Dior scarves and the Hermes scarves and the Gucci scarves. And he comes in and he creates a whole thing for Fabulous, for Lil Baby, for Lil Durk, and it created this whole thing to where, and then Virgil had brought the shoes, brought the aesthetic, brought everything towards, LV to make them want to do that. You see what I'm saying? To make them want to recreate clothes in the LV scarf. So, Virgil, you have to look at Virgil as iconic in Louis V history.
And that's not even you're not even including in that statement his own brand with Off-White and his collaboration.
Right, and I'm not even including that. Yeah. He started Pyrex. You know what I mean? So I'm not even including that. That's an Off-White, and he just sold Off-White. He sold Off-White to LVMH, who owns, LV and a couple other brands. Off-White is one of those things where he took streetwear and really the first person who is Ricardo from Givenchy. He really took streetwear and now he's with Burberry. So Virgil kind of had that Off-White and took Off-White, and now he took Off-White, that aesthetic, and he put it into LV. So when LV, and then once you with LV, you got sources out the ass. It's crazy. You can create whatever you want because the sources is just there. For you to call up and with them easy. It's easy. So that's the biggest between an independent brand and a big brand, is that the sources is crazy. It's like you want to be like the independent brand want to sign a contract with LVMH because the sources is there. They gonna tell you where the sources, where to get this made. All you gotta do is create it. That's it. So he will always be remembered as probably the best Louis V designer that ever.
Yeah, so basically 10 to 20 years from now, you'll be looking back and you'll be seeing how impactful he was because people aren't doing what he was doing. Yeah. Yeah. That's awesome.
Because Marc Jacobs was over there. You know what I mean? Marc Jacobs was there where he was. You know what I mean? So for him to be considered the best designer, menswear designer to even, and that's menswear. You know what I'm saying? Menswear and women's wear, they totally different.
Yeah.
Direct, you know what I mean? So that was menswear that he really brought to life. Men are buying more than women these days when it comes to clothing. That's big. That's hella big.
That's something that even not to get off.
I ain't gonna say more, but almost.
Because to get back to Nike, that's something I always noticed with Nike. And even when I was working there for a little bit, and they made it a point, but now I see it more as just a consumer.
Right. And then his collaborations
some brands only market to women.
You gotta see his Nike collaborations, his Jordan collaborations. He brought that whole Off-White to Jordan. He brought that whole Off-White to Nike. Now you got all types of classic Nike shoes that you wearing. Now they're Off-White. You know what I mean? you got to give it up to him. It's Virgil. You got to give it up to that man. Long live Virgil.
That's a great point you said about men buying, I think, just fashionable clothes in general, because most brands would only market to women when it came to fashion. And men kind of just got like leftovers when it came to like the creative part of it.
Of course.
I don't want to take anything away from
for a woman. That's what
for their women. Yeah, I don't want to take it away from Virgil in a sense, but I think I think a huge part of that men's, inclusion in fashion is definitely credited to somebody like Kanye West and his designs with originally Nike in the shoes and then Adidas in his shoes, because now it's like
he's a new Jordan. He's a new Jordan.
Yeah. He's the brand new. But I think his influence through Adidas kind of just crept up the line when it came to their product, also outside of shoes.
Yeah.
And made them become a very, very fashionable sense, and then brought other influencers and creators over to Adidas to become a fashionable sense. And that's where Adidas is a prominent men's, like, I'm going to give me Adidas tracksuit. I'm going to give me some shell toes. As for like a man, like the classics, right? And now they're pushing the line with that fashion, like you said. And I think that's a huge credit to somebody like Kanye West who did that.
Of course. Like, as far as in like building, building that influence through an influencer. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Yes. You gotta get, because like we was talking about who was really, what brands would, hey man, come on over to our brand and just be that influencer for us. They weren't doing that before Kanye. You gotta understand, Kanye built the shoe for LV first.
Yeah, I remember. I remember being in the city my freshman year. I used to walk into Louis Vuitton store and like, a hoodie, some sweatpants, fresh off of practice, and be like, I want to try those on, because I knew they was Kanye West Louis Vuitton Dons. And the dude working, or whoever was working there, knew I wasn't buying the shoes. They looked at me so crazy and was like, "What size do you need?" I'm like, "I just want to try them on," because they was Kanye West shoes.
Snap. Yeah, like them red. And then he went to Nike, made the red Octobers. That's like iconic shoes. So yeah, I agree with you. Like he's definitely that guy. I mean, and I believe he put Virgil on, like, for sure.
Yeah, I remember.
Architect. He was big in architecture. Like, that's what he went to school for. He went to school for architecture. He didn't even go.
I don't know if it was in a song or an interview or something, but Kanye kind of made the statement like, Virgil got the spot that I was supposed to get. The head of, that was the Louis Vuitton Don is Kanye West, and the man that worked for Kanye is the one that's now basically Don of Louis Vuitton, and that's I think that's crazy. I think that speaks to not only just Virgil but Kanye West's influence, because he's surrounded by those type of creators.
Of course, he was. I mean, he was surrounded by Just Don. I mean, was another person that was, in his circle. I didn't even know that Heron Preston was in a circle like that. He's like a Black designer, a luxury designer. Fear God is in a circle. Like,
I didn't know that. I didn't know Fear God is.
Yeah. So it was a lot of people that were in their circle, like Virgil and Just Done, and that that made headways and made classic stuff and classic.
Is that? I got a question, because I'm kind of just new and I might be late to the trend on the line. I think it's Fear God. I don't know, but it's like this essential line that basically put out like real basic, sweatshirts, t-shirts, and they're kind of oversized. Is that the same? I don't know who's behind that.
It's not the same. What Fear God did, he did a kind of like a exclusive thing with whoever was over Essential. I believe he might own Essential, but it's not, because the Essential came out with PacSun. It first came out in PacSun.
First came out PacSun, yeah.
So when PacSun, he did that kind of like high and low. So when I was talking about the high and low design, so that was like his low type of thing, and people loved it. You know what I mean? It was the neutral colors. It can go with a lot of stuff. It was very cozy. It was comfortable. And then, that was like kind of like that leisure type of vibe where it really kind of...
You can do it. You can wear it to the club. You can wear it to the gym.
You wear whatever. You know what I mean? And but Fear of God is his like top tier brand. That's when you have the blazers and the hoodies for $600 and thousands of dollars. You know what I mean? So
I think the interesting thing about that Essentials line is that there's a resale market for it. Like it is, and I only know this because like I use my little brother as like my up to date. He's early 20s. I use him as like up to date, what's hot, what's fashionable in a sense. And that's where I kind of came across the Essentials for the most part. And this resale market for clothes is wild to me. Because it's like, if I'm gonna buy some new clothes, I would technically want some clothes that only I have worn, and they're not necessarily, worn, but like there's a worn market for essential clothing.
Right. Because you hardly see it out there though. You hardly see it out there.
And
you see it, but you hardly see it.
Hardly see it. Yeah.
You hardly see it. Like, especially the ones that say fear God underneath it. Because now they just say essential. They don't have the fear God thing underneath it. So yeah, if they reselling the ones that says essential but with fear God underneath it, then that's like one.
I go into like these boutique sneaker stores and they got essential hoodies and the price point on them, and I'm just like, that's crazy to me, because these are boutique stores reselling this product,
right? Because they weren't that high. They definitely wasn't that expensive. You know what I mean? When they first came out in Pakistan, because they're not going to Pakistan getting high stuff like that. Like, nah.
But I think that's a brand that, like you said, is just benefiting off the trend of this like leisure, fashionable sense that you said you were kind of ahead of. Where realistically, if you look, maybe like 10 years ago, that oversized, baggy, neutral stuff is a homeless person's attire.
It's crazy.
And now it's the high end.
Bro, I got a book. I was going around San Francisco taking pictures of homeless people.
Yeah.
And we're seeing how they was wearing it, the whole rugged look, all that. I tell my wife that all the time. I said, bro, I was ahead of the game. If I would really like stuck with that type of vibe,
it's crazy because it's like, it's so, like, yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting, how you're able to kind of get a feel for that. So with that being said, is the next maybe 3 to 5 years, where's the trend specifically for like menswear? Where do you see what we'll be wearing down the line? What do you think? Is it still kind of similar, or is it
fashion kind of go in circles a little bit? Mm-hmm. But that whole like rugged look, that was no circle.
That
was some. Yeah, that was new. That was new because you got to think back in. I'm a big history person, so it like you got to think back then. That wasn't likely. You know what I mean? So now, to answer your question, I think the whole athleisure is definitely in the stay. Comfortability is like going to stay as well. But I believe that we're going to start dressing back up. Mm-hmm. Because I feel that, athleisure is going to stay and comfortability is going to stay. But when we go out and when there's certain kind of events or certain things that we have to do in life, we're gonna feel that we're gonna have to dress up. Like we're gonna have to really, really like put it on. You know
that kind of puts a question in my head to that, and maybe this will help you answer like why you think that generational wise, who pushes that line? Like, is the generation?
Generational wise?
So like,
who pushes that line?
Age, like age?
Yeah. So like, are we 30 and up club, late 20s, or is it this early 20 teens that are going to have a sense of, I want to put something on when I'm going to an event? Or are they going to kind of carry this rugged leisure look when it comes to a Met Gala or a floor seat at a basketball game and they're a star? They're are they going to dress up for those events?
That's what brings me to my what I'm trying to like bring as an aesthetic. Now, if you think about the Komodo, right? Komodo can be athleisure and it can be dress up, depending on what you use. If you look at the ancient, like Japanese era, they were in the fields with, doing whatever they had to do during their daily lives with Komodos on. And they were also,
at that dinner table,
ceremonial doing, with ceremonial and Komodos on. So it's kind of like this both of best worlds, but using one item. So, they shoot. But let's see. It was, how can I put this? I'm going to say athleisure is going to stay. It's going to stay because people like to be comfortable. I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
People like to be, I think people are now going to split it in half to where I'm going to be comfortable and I want to dress up. You see what I'm saying? Now the generation before
that's
us,
where I see the generation that's coming after us being. They want to be comfortable. I'll be 30 in January.
Okay, you about to just turn 30. Jared, how old are you?
32.
32. I'm 32 as well. Yeah. I'm about to be 33 in February.
So when I speak to generations, I'm talking my brother who's 22. 20.
What is he wearing right now?
What he's wearing right now is the Dunks, Jordan 1s. I think he sold all his Yeezys off. He'll wear, and clothes-wise, this Eric Emanuel basketball short.
They're not the ones. That generation right there is not the ones that people are going to be looking for.
I'm talking about. Yeah. I'm talking about like, is it us or is it the high schooler right now that when they get into adulthood, they're going to push that line?
They're already going to push the line already. Like they're going to push it in it. It don't matter if you look at like Kyle Kuzma, you look at Jalen Green. Mm-hmm. They're already pushing the line. Like those are like kind of like your people that not your high school, but your professional high school. Because you guys see Jalen 19 years old.
Yeah.
Like they still young, you know what I mean? But they are in the light of people having to look at them. So they're gonna, now if you look at like D Wade, who is like 36, you look at LeBron, 38, you know what I mean?
I mean, they're gonna be
look at Kevin Hart, who's 40, you know what I mean? They're the
old guys to an extent.
They are, but they are pushing the envelope too. You see what I'm saying? They are putting it on. So our generation, 33, 32, 30, I feel like we are the ones that are going to be like, okay, we like our comfortability. We love being in hoodies, like Jared say. We love being in beanies. I love being in caps and t-shirts, you know what I mean? But when we go out, we can't wear this.
Very true.
You know what I'm saying?
Very true.
What am I putting on? You know what I'm saying? That's going to give me comfortability, but it's going to dress me up even, a little bit more. You see what I'm saying?
I can speak to that a little bit.
Yeah. And that's why I say a Komodo type of vibe, a deconstructed blazer for men. You know what I mean? I have it's called a Shelby blazer named after my dad. Shelby blazer, it kind of has this Komodo, but kind of athleisure type of dress up look. You know what I mean? I have the Valley Neckline, which is in a more athleisure fabric content. You know what I mean? The fabric of it is really comfortable, but it also allows you to transition into cozy and also allows you to transition into putting on a blazer with it. So that whole versatility is what I think what we going to be like back and forth with. You know what I mean? Like just because when you get to a certain age, you have to present yourself a certain way. And it can't be in,
rugged
ass wear all the time. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's cool. It's good to be comfortable. Right now I'm in sweats and
it ages you. You're right. Because it definitely ages. Like if you show up to certain areas and you do got that oversized rugged wear on, like you might be 32, 33, but you look like a 23-year-old and nobody's going to take you serious to an extent, whatever it is that you might even be presenting to them, talking to them about or requesting of them. It's just like this serious factor.
Right.
But I can definitely speak to it myself that the versatility and functionality of like my fashionable sense is priority. Like I want to be comfortable, but I also want to be presentable. I always had this like funny analogy. Like I want to be able to, I want to have something on that's impressionable, but I still want to be able to run like a 40-yard dash if I need to. Exactly. Like I want to be able to buck out.
What are you running 40-yard dashes too?
That's the functionality I want in my outfit daily.
Right. Right. And that's definitely key. And that's how I feel. Like me getting next year in 2022, I'm about to take my health to another level. Like I'm about to really, because right now I'm fat and gaudy, you know what I mean? But I'm about to really like, I have a friend, he's a PT, personal trainer, and he's train. I want to really take my aesthetic to another level. So, I want to be able to put it on and feel comfortable in it. You see what I'm saying? Because sometimes fashion, people are not people are not dressing up because they've been in the house for a whole year and they are not, they,
like the way they look on them. The way they look at it.
Yeah. Now they're starting to get back out there. You see more people. It's more ladies in the gym than men are right now. You know what I mean? It's a lot of ladies that's in the gym. We're going to have to get our ass in the gym and, you know what I'm saying? And dress to impress as well. You see what I'm saying? Because they're definitely making their way back to dressing impressive because they were really casual and conservative for years. You know what I mean? And women was controlling the market for years. So now that they're trying to find ways to be unique and, come back out with fashion and things like that, we're going to be, just because we're buying more and we're in the light more as well, as far as in fashion, we're going to have to step it up as well. Mm-hmm. So, that's the reason why I'm going to put it on when I'm going out. You know what I mean? I'm going to have to put it on when I'm going out just because I want to be photographer. You know what I mean? I want to have a photographer with me. I want to make sure that I'm showing a certain light that's, my aesthetic as a designer, for sure. I can only talk about for me personally, you know what I mean? Now you guys are two, casual guys, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Atlanta for some odd reason.
Yeah, no. Football Sunday. Football Sunday.
That's a point though, because I remember it was 2015. I was playing indie ball with this guy I think his name was like Trevor Reckon. I don't know what he's doing now, but he had started this page and it might still be going. And they had this idea of fashion meets fitness. Mm-hmm. And they were making it like, not so much what they were wearing, working out, but it was like fit men being fashionable. Mm-hmm. I think, and that made me think like there's like this untapped, I don't know if it is untapped, but I'm assuming it is, this untapped area of fashion within fitness, like being fashionable while trying to get fit. So like how do you make how do you make fashionable athletic wear?
And that's
functional to the point where you can wear it to the gym, leave the gym, and then still go to like an event because your wear was fashionable.
Mm-hmm. So that's what brings me to, I actually experimented with this like years ago. So that's the reason why the Valley Neckline is a staple to me, because the Valley Neckline was a time where me and my best friend, we was in the gym a lot. You know what I mean? He was like muscular. So he used to always be like, bro, if you could design something that's like, for fit guys and for, fit guys, they wear suits and all, but t-shirts is like something because it shows their physique. You know what I mean?
You wear almost athletic wear all the time.
Right. So it was like, that's why Valley Neckline is so key. Like if you look at on my Instagram, you'll see Tank is the R&B singer who is he's in the gym. You know what I mean?
I saw that. Yeah, I actually saw that. He was wearing your shirt, I think.
He has my Valley Neckline on, but it shows a certain physique in the man, but it's still a fashion. And it was one where he can dress it up or he could dress it down. So he could put joggers on with it, or he could do, you know what I mean? So when take it to what you say, I want to run a 40-yard dash, you could run a 40-yard dash in a Valley Neckline. You see what I'm saying? And the fabric of it all is moisture weakening. So
see, I think that's the sweet spot of fashion, that it's that the functionality of pieces where, like I have one of my preferred fashionable lines is Burberry. So I have like some Burberry pieces, but like there's certain things I'm not going to do in my jackets or my shirts just because of the design of it. It's not functional, like functionality, but like these Billionaire Boys Club sweatsuits that I like to wear a lot, like I can wear these and feel presentable depending on what it looks like. And I can also feel comfortable and athletic in it.
Right. And I feel like that's where fashion is going to go. Just because
that's what I'm trying to get at. Is like, is that going to be, is putting that stuff on going to be considered something that's functionable, or is it going to remain something that's only for this event?
Both.
Yeah. Okay. I can see that.
Both.
I got a question for you because I'm on your store and I believe I'm looking at the Valley Neckline. That's the shirt that in the front and back in the middle, is that stitched together the whole way?
Yeah. So it's a seam. Yeah. That's
okay, cool. Yeah,
I tried that shirt a bunch of ways, and you remember Adrian Peterson? Adrian Peterson has a gym down here. It's called O Athletics, and I used to know the owner. He was partnered with another owner and things like that. Real good friends. Of mine. His name is Spencer Rivers. So he owns this gym called O Athletics, and it was for athletes. You know what I mean? So I had a gray one on. It was like one of my first ones that I ever made, right? And he was there. Adrian Peterson was there. He V-lined to me and was like, "Bro, I had a blazer on over this shirt." Okay, he said he V-lined over to me and was like, "Bro, where you get that shirt from?"
Mm-hmm.
So I've been testing this shirt for a while. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? And a lot of people have been looking at this shirt and been like, "Bro, where you get this shirt from? Where you get the shirt from? Where you get the shirt from?" So that's how I know. And it's from people that's athletic, and it's from people that is not athletic. So that just tells you right there that it's just going to be one of those things where it's both, where it has to transition from being comfortable to dressing, putting that on. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's cool because it almost had like, at 1 minute you look at it, it looks like a dressy type vibe shirt, and at the same time it doesn't.
Right.
It's cool.
Right.
And yeah, it's like, especially the black one, I'm like,
right.
That's fucking slick. It's slick.
Yeah, and it's smooth. It's smooth.
Yeah, it looks really nice. It does. It's almost like, it's like if you were wearing that, someone would be like, "What is that person wearing?" Like that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
And does it run kind of smaller? Because you do say,
yeah, it runs a little smaller. I think I'm gonna do another run of that because I think I want to change the fabric to my original fabric. I was testing a fabric out on this one, but it's my class. This is what I bring back to my foundation. So this is my foundation so this is going to transcend throughout my whole brand, like a polo shirt. You know what I mean? Like polo.
Okay.
Yeah. So
so this is your like iconic.
Correct.
We'll know
that's the piece. That's the piece that you're kind of known.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah. Correct. So that's why it's at a good price point at $135, just because it's not super, super high and it's not super, super low. So it's at just like
so there'll be like an OG version of the Valley Neckline, basically, because of how much I got continuing to grow upon it.
Yeah. I got this shirt. It's called the 20. So I named it 2050.
Yep.
For a reason, because I'm always thinking ahead. I always want to. So the next one's called 2100. This 2100 shirt is I just did a lookbook shoot of it. It's in this shoot. And once I release these pictures, you're going to be like, this shirt, the same scene right there, that's down the middle, is everywhere on this shirt.
Okay.
Interesting.
So down the sleeves, it's in the front. So it still has the Valley neckline there. It's going to have this Valley neckline still with the seam down the middle and the back. The back has an arc seam with a seam that's like directly like a little bit above it. It seams all over the shirt. And then the cuff on this thing, you've never seen it before. You've never seen it before. I'm telling you right now, you've never seen this.
And when can we expect this?
You're going to be expecting this in 2022 pre-fall. So pre-fall is like June. July.
Okay. Yeah. Perfect timing for a shirt like this. I feel like summertime, it's always hard to dress up in warmer climates. And this looks like a perfect shirt to wear out at night, especially. I will have my eyes on it for sure.
Yeah, and nighttime is perfect. It's a perfect shirt. It makes you feel like how Steph said, it just makes you feel like you can dress it up and you can go to the gym in it. Like it's like one of those. It is one of those shirts like that.
I got two more and then we'll wrap. Two questions for you on it. One, and we can keep this one short and quick. Colors. How important are colors when you're introducing a product? And I asked that kind of in relation to like Kanye, who will put out like a new shoe, sometimes in like an off-the-wall color.
Mm-hmm.
How important is it, like when you're putting out a new product, that the color is either neutral or I guess loud to an extent for that product to have an impact?
It's a thin line, bro. Like I'm not gonna lie. It's times where I want to do color in the like this Valley neckline. I've been doing this Valley neckline. I'm probably gonna start getting more into color, but it's not gonna be like crazy color because I like the classiness of black and white. I love black and white, like period, point blank. So like I feel that the color aspect of it. I'm also releasing some t-shirts that's green. It's actually right here. Hold on. It's green.
Ooh, sneak peek.
Yeah. Yeah.
Love it. Exclusive look. I love it.
Oh, you see my little custom hangers there.
Hey. Okay.
This right here, I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah, I see it.
Boss of the Jamel. And then it's big on the back. So this is like a brown here. It's going to be really, really dope. The hoodies that are coming out in December has the same thing, but it's like all over the back. It's like this print here is all over, like at the back, like a step and repeat type of vibe. This is the green. So I'm not really a big on color, but when I do color, it's you would rather it be, something that's bold. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's what I mean. Like for your product, when you release a new product, the boldness of like the color choice.
I try to stay, if I'm releasing a new product, if it's something, it depends on the silhouette of it. Like if it's something that I can see it being in a color, like a bold color, then I would do it in a bold color. Okay. But if it's something that I can't see other men wearing that color in this particular silhouette, then I'm not going to do it. You can't just be dumb about it. Now, what you can do is create something for product placement, meaning give it some bold, to give it to somebody like a DeAndre Hopkins who's gonna wear it. You know what I'm saying? Because he's used to being, bold and having that statement about itself. Do that and then like test it out. So fashion, you kind of gotta test things out and see where it's kind of what people. But for me, I'm gonna always stay neutral just because I'm an independent brand, and you don't want to really be too bold, but you want to be bold for sure.
Okay.
With color.
And then I got one more. Somebody knocking on my door. What
happened with me last time? I was like, hold on, man. Somebody knocked on my door.
I just had, because we do a little thing on here called Die on the Hill. And it's just basically like a principle or moral that you would take to your grave. And so from a fashion designer sense, I don't want you to necessarily speak for everyone else, but kind of just for you in a sense that what's the main principle that you take into your grave as a designer that like you'll never stray from? Trends might change, times might change, you might grow as a person, but the main moral and principle as the designer that you will never stray away from.
Just being organic. You would never see me follow somebody else's trend.
Yeah. I think that's
you would never see me get a scarf and use another brand's, not saying that it's bad. I'm just saying you would never see me do that. I'm going to create my own lane. You know what I mean? I'm going to create my own aesthetic. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like that's what all the other brands did. You know what I mean? Balenciaga, from your YSL to your, Ralph Lauren. You know what I mean? They created their own aesthetic. You know what I mean? It's not Christian Dior. You know what I mean? They all created their own aesthetic, and I will be always an organic designer, and it always be creative. Like that's what I'm gonna take to my grave. That's what it is.
Love it.
I think it's
shit. I mean, we could wrap it up there. This was awesome, man.
This was great, man.
I feel bad. We kind of just. Yeah, no, we kind of just rifled in and started talking. We didn't really get you to introduce yourself. I know it's but is there anything? Yeah, you want to just kind of introduce yourself.
We could throw it at the beginning and put it out.
Yeah, they know me as Houston, but
Houston.
That's from a past life.
Yeah. What are you going by now? What's like your call name, your brand, and kind of where they can find you, and we'll include everything in our description and let everyone be able to find you.
Yeah, I mean, I now go by Jamel Hawk. Also, Quentin Hawkins, that's my real name. But Quentin Jamel Hawkins is my full name. So I go by Jamel Hawk. You can go on www.jamelhawk.com and, look at the assortment. I will be releasing a lot the next few months. You know what I mean? So, and you can go on social media at Jamel Hawk _ really keep it real simple. I'm trying to get back on Twitter, but I'm not sure about that.
Hard for me. That's hard for me too. Tweeting is just hard for me. I can't
TikTok is hard. I just got to figure out how I'm gonna market myself.
Yeah.
I think I want to do like a day in life type of thing. Yeah. Where it's kind of
and that's where I feel aged at is like the social media. Like I haven't gotten into TikTok and I haven't been on Twitter. I feel that's kind of where I first started to feel like I'm getting old, where it's like I'm not up to date with social media.
But TikTok has its ways of how you got to do TikTok. You know what I mean? You just can't just go on there and just be like, I'm gonna do TikTok. You know what I mean? Like you gotta that's the crazy thing about social media today. You gotta go in there with a plan.
Go on
there. If you're just doing it for just regular type of, doing regular stuff, doing challenges, dances and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Cool. But if you're a business like me, where I'm going into it with a plan and I think I'm gonna use it more as like a BTS type of vibe. Creating
that content. Yeah, that content's got to have a purpose to it. Sure.
Correct. It got to have a purpose to it, and I think it'll do justice. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I will say because I had bought some before I went on vacation. Them swim trunks. Them swim trunks was functional because I was able to get in the pool in them. I was also able to work out in them. And then I kind of just threw them on with a beater when it was hot. So like I really enjoyed them swim trunks. I need.
I'm actually releasing another swimwear brand in the summertime. Swimwear collection in the summertime. Right now I'm working on a pop-up. I'm trying to do a whole installation type of pop-up behind with the pool involved in it. And I wanna do the ones that I've done, but I wanna make the Jamel Hawk kind of like the small print, big print, like on one side, and do it in a different color, like a blue or green or gray. And really kind of bring a event towards my what's name. If y'all able to fly down to the event.
I was gonna say, and we'll wrap after this, but I'm looking to relocate. I'm trying to convince the wife. I'm trying to move out to Houston or like on the outskirts of Houston to Texas and just in Texas in general. So I'll be out that way sometime at the top of next year to recon the island a little bit and look around and see what it's like. So I'll definitely be in touch.
Yeah, man, Texas is it's a dope. You can live cheaply down here.
Yeah.
It's getting high. I ain't gonna lie. It's getting high. Yeah. But you can get, I'm in a 3-story house with it wasn't $1 million. It wasn't that's appealing to a family, man, so right. It's perfect for family. Like it's perfect for families. It's getting around. You can go from one side of a city to the other. It's dope. It's cool. It's nice. It's hot. It ain't got no seasons, but
we appreciate it, man. We'll be in touch.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Y'all be easy, all right?
All right, man.
All right.
Take care.
Take care.
Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends? Why can't we be friends?